All right, let's talk about something that literally affects every single one of us, our money, and more specifically, how our earning power actually evolves over a lifetime. For this explainer, we're digging into some fresh, projected 2026 data to benchmark incomes across the US. We're going to take these numbers and use them to build out the ultimate financial roadmap for every single decade of your life, from your 20s all the way to your 60s.
It really boils down to the ultimate question, doesn't it? Are you ahead of the curve or kind of falling behind? Asking yourself this is exactly how you measure your progress. Now, a quick heads up as we get into this data. Skewed averages can be incredibly misleading. If a billionaire walks into your local coffee shop, suddenly the average person in that room is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That's why we're going to focus heavily on median benchmarks. The median reveals exactly where you stand, right in the middle of the pack, against your actual peers.
Okay, here's the game plan. We're taking a journey through 5 distinct life stages: your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s. And for each of these decades, we'll uncover 3 crucial, actionable goals you need to hit to maximize your wealth during that specific window.
First up, Section 1, Your 20s, the Financial Foundations Phase.
Now, this is a super unique decade because it's deeply divided. The early 20s are basically an education phase, or just the very beginnings of a career. But when we look at earners nearing age 29, young professionals fully hitting the workforce, there's a massive, almost unbelievable gap between the average earner and the top tier. The average income sits at about $73,930, but get this, that extreme top 1% is hitting an astounding $396,000 before they even turn 30. Of course, those top numbers are heavily skewed by high-paying, specialized fields. We're talking software engineers at big AI firms, investment bankers, that sort of thing. For the vast majority of us, earning under 6 figures is the absolute norm here.
So how do you actually set yourself up for success when you're making a totally normal starting salary? Well, you avoid this number like the plague, $766. That is the massive trap of the average American monthly car payment. In your 20s, your current bank balance matters way less than the trajectory of your habits. Locking yourself into almost $800 a month for a depreciating asset, it's literally one of the easiest ways to crush your ability to build a strong financial base.
And honestly, a car payment that high is especially dangerous when you consider the modern housing squeeze. The average person in this bracket is spending nearly a third of their income, 32.8% to be exact, just on rent. Couple that rent with the fact that people are also blowing about $1,080 a year on various digital subscriptions, and the financial pressure in your 20s becomes very, very real.
So here is your playbook to navigate that squeeze. First, build basic habits. Automate your very first savings and investments, even if it's just $20 a month. Second, keep those fixed expenses incredibly light. Stay away from massive vehicle debt and control your housing costs. Maybe get roommates or live with family to stockpile cash. And third, prioritize your skills. Your 20s are the perfect time to job hop, take calculated risks, and say yes to more responsibilities. That's how you build the skills that will exponentially increase your paycheck later on.
Moving right along to Section 2, Your 30s, Combating Lifestyle Creep.
If we use age 35 as our statistical anchor, it's kind of ironic. Even though you are definitely making more money now, this is actually the decade where the most people lose serious financial ground. The income spread really starts to stretch. The average jumps up to roughly $83,000, while the median sits firmly around $60,000. And if you're in the top 10%, you're pulling in about $167,000. But here's the catch. Massive life events happen in your 30s: weddings, buying a first house, having kids. These huge expenses severely drain the bank, making that higher median income feel like it just vanishes into thin air.
Which brings us to the ultimate enemy of wealth building in your 30s, lifestyle creep. You know exactly what this is. It's that overwhelming temptation to upgrade your car, get a nicer apartment, take fancier vacations, buy better clothes, the exact second your income grows. It completely neutralizes your raises. So here is a life-changing, absolutely crucial rule to fight it. Save exactly half of every single new raise you get. Seriously, if your salary bumps up by $10,000, instantly divert $5,000 of that straight to investing before you even see it, and then guilt-free, enjoy the other half.
So your 3 goals for the 30s. Number 1, actively curb that overspending and put a lid on lifestyle creep. Number 2, aim to eliminate all non-mortgage debt. No credit card balances, no lingering student loans by the time you hit 40. And number 3, systematically invest 15 to 20% of your income.
The math here is literally magical. Even investing just $3,000 a year at an average 8% return becomes over $600,000 by the time you reach age 65. It's a total game changer.
Section 3. Your 40s. The peak earning power years.
This is a really exciting phase because you're entering one of the biggest, most significant peak earning decades of your entire life. All those skills you built up in your 20s and refined in your 30s, they are about to pay serious dividends. The numbers show median incomes bumping up roughly 11% from the previous decade, hitting a median of $67,144. And the 75th percentile jumps all the way up to $117,000. Professionals in their 40s are just maturing into their absolute highest value in the marketplace.
And because your earning power is peaking, this is the exact decade you need to define your finish line. Enter the 4% rule. The idea here is that in retirement, you should plan to live off 4% to 4.5% of your total investable assets each year. So let's say you want $40,000 a year in retirement income. You just reverse engineer that, and boom, you realize you need a target nest egg of $1 million. If market returns keep pace, your balance essentially stays flat while you comfortably live off it.
Here's your rule of 3 for the 40s. First, lock in that ultimate target retirement number using the 4% rule. Second, use your peak income to confidently cash flow upcoming major expenses right now, things like your kids' college funds or huge home repairs. And third, plot an aggressive course to be 100% totally debt-free, including the house if you can swing it, by the time you hit 50.
That brings us to Section 4. Your 50s. The preservation pivot.
Now, this is a fascinating anomaly. Human earning curves do something unexpected here. Across the decade, the median income actually drops back down to around $63,350. But if you look closer, incomes specifically peak at age 52 at about $70,000, and then they start to gently slide downward. Why does this happen? Well, people are intentionally stepping back from the intense grind. They're making a conscious choice to value lifestyle and freedom over pure, relentless earning.
But turning 50 gives you a literal, federally approved cheat code for building wealth. The contrast is wild. For folks under 50, the normal 401k contribution limit is capped at $24,500. But the exact second you turn 50, you unlock the catch-up limit. This lets you pump a massive $32,500 into your 401k every single year. It's designed as an accelerant to just top off your wealth right before the finish line.
To absolutely crush your 50s, run through this checklist. Number 1, pivot to capital preservation. It's not just about massive growth anymore. You've got to diversify into safer assets like bonds, so a sudden market crash doesn't wipe out your retirement. Number 2, use guidelines like Fidelity's 80% rule, meaning you aim to replace 80% of your pre-retirement income to accurately forecast what your monthly spending will actually look like when the kids are finally out of the house. And number 3, aggressively max out every single one of those newly unlocked catch-up accounts.
And finally, Section 5. Your 60s. The finish line.
This decade takes us right up to the traditional retirement age of 65. It's all about wrapping things up and getting ready to enjoy everything you've built. The data here shows this crazy phenomenon economists call the last man standing effect. The median income bizarrely bounces right back up to $70,100, specifically at age 65. Why the sudden jump? It's simply because a huge chunk of lower and middle income individuals have officially retired, so they just aren't counted in the workforce statistics anymore. To comfortably cross that finish line in your 60s, these are your final 3 non-negotiables. First, you want the supreme peace of mind that comes with a completely paid-off 30-year mortgage. Second, you absolutely must have a robust estate plan finalized, so your loved ones are protected without dealing with legal headaches. And third, you step comfortably and confidently into a fully funded retirement where there is zero guesswork left about your finances. Which brings us to the biggest takeaway of this entire explainer. Where do you currently stand on your roadmap? I mean, really take a hard look at the benchmarks for your current decade. Are your daily habits actually aligning with your long-term goals? The data shows us what's typical, but the choices you make today are going to determine whether you fall behind the average or if you completely redefine your own financial freedom. Take action, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.